Hello and good evening to everybody, or all two of you from the hills of Ellicott City. This evening I have decided to come here. I've done a lot of big parks lately, done a lot of running around the state and a little bit out of the state, and it's been great. But I just realized out of I don't know, 15 or 20 clips that I've made, most of them recently, I haven't shot the Trolley Trail or its environs back here in the woods of Oella once. Oops, I'm sorry. Once again, this is actually literally Oella, a neighborhood in Baltimore County. It is right next door to Ellicott City. So people often confuse the two or lump the two together, and that's really kind of okay, because they do kind of lump and run in together as the river joins them, and the culture of the park and the creeks and everything and the exercise and the trails around here joins them. It's not really unfair to just kind of lump them together. Anyway, so we are here in Oella, Baltimore County, Trolley Trail. Ellicott City is right next door. There is probably a $1.5 million house just off the path. And I have taken you to the big Oella Waterfall. As some of you have know, I've been ranting and raving about the graffiti that has been really bad and getting out of control at state parks, regional parks, and other places as well. And unfortunately, this one beautiful vertical drop 18-foot waterfall has not escaped it either. Luckily, at the bottom, facing the waterfall, I believe, hopefully there is still no graffiti. Most of it's at the top. So in part of shame and anger, I'm gonna try not to show you those parts. I'm gonna do my best to keep the scenes graffiti free. So here we are at the top of the falls. It's beautiful, very flat creek bed. And if you look over here, of course this is erosion, but this doesn't come year by year. This came largely in about 4 great floods that have hit this region, which I've talked a little bit about. But these hills are notorious for their floods. They're actually worse, have been worse in the last 100 years than the notorious Jonestown floods in Pennsylvania. They're just horrible, horrible floods. They don't come very often, but they're hard to time. But they do come, and this is what they do. This is not normal erosion. This is not typical year in, year out. This is not global warming. This is periodic flooding, is what we're looking at right here, or the results thereof. So without further ado, let's take you on down. And let's try to keep this kind of smooth. I'm gonna try to make it quick down the hill. However, it did just rain. So luckily, someone wore the right boots today. Here's the top twin mini falls here. Makes a real nice shot. Of course, it's easy to get good flowing action because they're pretty even, and you can get real close to them here. So makes for a nice still shot, and kind of tricks folks into thinking they're bigger than they really are. This is just a little shelf here. But what you're about to see is really extraordinary. And in fact, I'm gonna take you just a couple feet down here to the very beginning, get my feet wet a little bit, and show you what happened right here. This is literally where the ground cracked apart. This particular part of central Maryland is very unique. There are many places where there are great big folds and, you know, the collision of crust that formed the Appalachian Mountains. But there are a couple cracks in the earth where lava oozed out, where the collision was so great that plates just drove further and further underground and scraped up magma from deep chambers. What you're looking at right here is one of those spots. Now there is, of course, you see a lot of banded gneiss in this area, schist, gneiss, granite, mixes of the three, gneiss, however you prefer it, prefer to pronounce it. But in some spots you do see lava mixtures. This is one of those spots right here. Right here is where the ground began to crack open just a little bit. It's really, really amazing. Unfortunately, there's usually a little bit less water up here, so I could show you more. But again, it did just rain, so it's a bit wet. It's also going to be a bit slippery. I think I better go around this way real quick. Oh! But I'm going to try to keep this going. But it's wet, so I can't literally run. Yeah, see, this area is normally a little easier to see. This is just beautiful right here. Just beautiful, and you're gonna see more of it. Again, I'm gonna try to keep the graffiti shots out. Some will be hard to see from far away. So here's a shot of the gorge. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't stop remarking on how much of a shame it is that these kids have done what they've done to this place. You know, that stuff under bridges and alleys is just fine. Beautiful natural environments and landmarks is another thing. So, you know, I've talked a bit about Maryland's waterfalls. I've been to a lot of them. I still have to get to a couple of the biggest ones, which are way out in Western Maryland. This is probably actually, though, now I'm not judging volume, okay, but on a sheer vertical drop, not a cascade, not 45 degrees, not 70 degrees, you know, but pretty much a sheer vertical drop. This has got to be possibly the third or fourth tallest waterfall in Maryland. What's great about it is it's not on the map, and you can't find it if you look it up on Google Maps or whatever, because it's just not listed. Part of the reason may have something to do with some of the land on the other side of the creek, of course, being private property. But the waterfall is not, and don't let any signs deter you, because, of course, an actual water boundary, a creek or a river, is nobody's property. Either side may be, you know, or at least a few feet from the creek on either side may be someone's private property, and usually is. But a creek is nobody's property, and neither is the trail that comes back here. I'll show you a trail marker down below just to prove to you that it's not really anybody's private property, because they put these signs up and try to fool you, right? So let's get down here real fast, or pretty fast. It's really actually horribly slippery, wet leaves here, but these boots are insanely kick-ass, so I don't have to worry that much. I'm gonna take you looking down the whole thing. Here we are at the top. Really beautiful rock. I'll show you some of it that's not spray painted. The side here of the fall is just marvelous. Look at that. All right. I should probably go down that way, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go this way. Test it out a little bit. It's actually not too bad for having just sprinkled a bit. So I'm gonna try to get you right over. No, I can't quite get you right over. Here we go. Here's a shot from the top of the falls. Decent volume of water, although again it just rained. And as you can see straight down, it hits straight down. And it's about, my estimation is about 18 feet or so, probably just shy of 20. Let me get my feeling, because if I slip here, I'm ending up in really bad shape. This is actually not a big drop at all, but it would be a very bad one, relatively speaking. It's all rock down there, just all rock, obviously. Just gorgeous. There's a little gorge, a little valley, makes a nice still shot, especially in the fall. All right, let's get going. I'll take you all the way down there. Let you see the front of it. I'll try to make this quick. I have one hand holding my phone, of course, because I still don't have the GoPro. Yep, saw some graffiti on the tree there, sorry. And I'm not using my hand, but I'm sticking it with the other hand, as I usually do. I get around pretty good. I don't need my hands much. I'm all about the center of gravity. You know, you get that and you get the right footing, and but whether you're actually talking about clambering or rock climbing, your hands are at that point there as a guide. There is a, beginning point, but the rest of your body is doing most of the work. The rest of your body is also what's keeping you from falling, not your hands. So I don't rely on my hands for anything out here at all, ever. Anywhere I go, I barely ever have to touch a rock, ever. It's almost always my 2 feet. Here we've got a tough choice, this way or that way. Oh dear. This way. The roots are always a safe way to go, right? Because I'm not using any hands here. And it's, better, almost 45 degrees for a lot of this, a bit less for some of it. Now it's flattened out a bit. So we're making good time here. Oh, I don't see all those signs. Oh, there's one way down there, but no matter. Not worth zooming in on, right? Heck with these people. I don't know who they think they are. This person up here thinks they're Bill Gates. Look at that shot here. I'll zoom in a little bit. These people, that home, now it looks really, really, really big. I'd say it's big, you know, good size, maybe 6, 7 bedrooms. Absolutely, you know, has to go for $1.5 million, maybe a bit more. Its location is, I don't know, some people would say it's got a better location than the last one because it's right here overlooking the waterfall area, which you're about to see. That great big rock, luckily that's really hard to graffiti. You'd end up getting your butt wet no matter what. But these kids are crazy, you know. Half the fun to them is the challenge of getting to the point where they have to make their tag. And the more things you have to climb, the more barbed wire and cops and cameras you have to dodge, then, you know, the more stripes you earn. Again, it's nothing foreign to me. I was young once. I just did it where most people do it, under bridges and behind alleys. Not at waterfalls. I'm gonna stop. And it's a good thing because we're just about here. Here's a lovely rock we just saw from up there. This piece of rock here is well, about 20 feet, but it's one massive wrinkled piece. And the moss on these rocks down. This little area down here is beautiful. You know, the basin always is, right? The basin is where you get a lot of life. Probably see more frogs, tadpoles, water insects. This is kind of tricky. I don't remember which way to go. I'm gonna be ballsy and go down here where it's a bit angled. These boots are amazing, but it is pretty wet. Hang on real quick, we're almost there. Almost there. Up, took 2 stick points there. Bottle of water that somebody didn't care to take with them. Just beautiful. At least you can get a good shot right here too. This has been a favorite little shot of mine because, again, it's real easy to get slow camera speed, you know, regardless of what you're using. Even if it's a regular camera phone, you can get it to have a nice flowy look to it. Beautiful red rust right there, beautiful iron stain, and the gorgeous granite. And here we are. Here's the secret Oella Falls. I want to tilt my camera, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it this video. I swear I'm going to get through the whole video and not do it once. So let me back up a bit. I'm not going to tilt it. Just gorgeous. Look at that. 18 feet. Okay, you know, so I mean, it's the way it pours out immediately hits the rock on an angle. However, when you get around the side of it, the water does drop straight down. It is the closest thing to a sheer drop. And it is certainly, no matter how you measure it, you know, what kind of waterfall, it has got to be Maryland's, like I said, probably 4th, maybe 5th biggest waterfall in the state. It's absolutely gorgeous. It made me fall in love with nature again, as did these hills. Then I started venturing out into the Patapsco more, of course, and around the state a bit more recently. But this place is special to me. It's very, very special. I wish people would treat it well. That's it. I'll see you soon.